Jez Frampton from brand consultancy Interbrand joins me now from London. Jez, it's great to see you. I guess the question is, the brand is still on topic. Can it stay there if they don't start winning?
Well, that's what it all comes down to. At the end of the day, the brand is the way that you do business. It affects the inside of the club and, of course, the outside of the club, and there are hundreds of millions of fans around the world. I think the Manchester United brand is absolutely still extremely strong. It'd be interesting to see what happens to people's opinions putting Mourinho in the mix, but as we all know, we're very used to this, what I would call a management merry-go-round in football now. So I think it's really about what happens in the future rather than this particular moment in time.
Right, and the players are so critical to that. But I wonder also
Absolutely. How
important are the fans and where they are? We've seen a real surge in especially the appetite for this sport in Asia. We all followed the success of Leicester City. How important is that sort of, new constituency, and are they placed to still be able to carry that? It seems like there's a lot more competition and awareness.
Well, you call it a new constituency, but something like half of all the Manchester United fans are based in Asia.
Yeah.
And the EPL, the English Premier League, is massively important to Asian daily life. And of course, Mourinho is very well known within that context too. So bringing those two things together certainly will, let's say, sum up a sense of anticipation of what Manchester United's future might be. But at the end of the day, this has also got to generate growth for Manchester United, the business.
Yeah, and you're right. It's not a new constituency in that sense, but the more sort of into it people get, the more in the weeds, the more you have the ability for these smaller clubs to maybe get traction. And we also have a lot of this sort of Asian money buying clubs as well. It's not just the Russian oligarchs anymore. What brand or what club do you think has the best shot at challenging Man U? And it doesn't have to be English Premier League. I mean, in the world of football, where is a lot of the buzz?
Well, a lot of the buzz actually, particularly out in Asia, and as I mentioned, I think there's about 690 fans, according to million fans, just to be clear, according to Manchester United's information, and around about half of them are in Asia. And the fanaticism around football is as great there, perhaps even more so than you find in other countries in Europe and, of course, the UK. I think from without any sense of knowing exactly where it come from, but companies like, clubs like Chelsea obviously have a tremendous following there. There's also the Serie A, the Italian teams, people like Juventus, Madrid, and there's many who could challenge them for their crown. But Manchester United has a very special sense of meaning for people in many different parts of the world, let alone in the UK.
And boy, we all love a comeback story, even though, they won for so long. It's hard to even imagine saying that, but people do sort of like to see that return to glory. I want to go back to who we believe will be the new manager, and Jose Mourinho. Some people, he does have a lot of cachet, but also he's getting older. Do you think he still has that sort of manager mystique to kind of bring that sense of excitement back?
Well, I'm certainly not a football pundit, but I think as a personality, he carries a tremendous amount of weight with him and has a brand in his own right. Interestingly enough, Man U and Jose Mourinho have almost the same number of Facebook followers, for instance. That just goes to show how tremendously popular, or at least interesting to watch, Mr. Mourinho is. There's lots, I've read things about what the football pundits think. There is a certain potential of a combination in terms of the way that Mourinho thinks about football and the way that Manchester United play. I think a lot will obviously come from his relationship with the players and what he can do to reshape and reform that team. It's very easy to knock them. They did win the FA Cup just this weekend, so it's not like they've had a terrible year. And I'm sure their fans around the world were jumping around their living rooms the same way that people were here in the UK.
Yeah, it's always easy to take a pot shot at that, right? They expect nothing less than perfection, I'm sure. And we know when it comes to branding, celebrity doesn't hurt at all, and he certainly has that. Jez, great to catch up with you. I love talking the sports. Jez Frampton for us from Interbrand.